Well, this is hilarious, isn't it? Because I am now officially a speaker of the Oxford Union. I am in the debate. The idea was I was not meant to be, so we don't care about that. What I wanted to say was just to welcome you. It hasn't been possible to say hi to everyone, but you are really, really very welcome, and it is a privilege for us all to be here. Hopefully, Charlie said he's going to lather it up, whatever that means. I think that's Oxford Union speak. But what I want to say is I know for many of you this is a really unique experience, and you will never have been in this chamber before. But for me, that's not the reason that we're here. The reason for me is a lot more philosophical, as my daughter would say. It's because I think it's a shared opportunity for us all to open up our hearts and minds and actually think about how we choose to spend our time and money. You've heard from my eminent colleague over there, you know, lots of philosophers talk about this, but I think generally we don't talk about it enough, and maybe we find it embarrassing, or maybe it's just something we find difficult. And that's where the Community Foundations come in, and I guess that a lot of you in this room probably don't know what a Community Foundation is, so I'm just going to, if you allow me, indulge myself to tell you a little bit about Community Foundations. We've been going about 100 years, and here in Oxfordshire we're nearly 21, celebrating a big birthday next year. And the OCF, as we like to call ourselves, there are 48 of us across the UK, and we do have some other community foundations in the audience, so you're all very welcome. But we're one of 1,700 around the world. Now, I think that suggests that we're doing something right, and we're definitely not alone. So what do community foundations do, and what makes us unique? The first thing is we actually like to identify what the needs are in our areas, and more importantly, we bring together the people that have the resources to actually do something about them. We then like to magnify things that we think are real problems and tell people about them, which is why we're having this debate tonight, because I think people don't talk about this stuff enough. And then the other thing we do, which is the real fun bit, is we match people that actually share what I would call this social responsibility for the common good. And whilst we've been talking about looking good and doing good, I actually think it's all about the common good. So what do community foundations do? In the last year alone, we've actually funded 20,000 charities up and down the country, all throughout the UK. We've awarded £65 million of money in grants. That's community investment, as we like to see it. And between us, we look after nearly £500 million of charitable funds on behalf of individuals, families, and businesses. So, as I will keep saying, you know, I think that's a real sign that we're really interested in the common good. But the one thing that my team and I worry about every day is that not enough people think about the common good. And boy, do we need the common good at the moment. So I'm just going to ask you just to close your eyes, look around the people next to you. Maybe you know some of the faces, maybe you don't. But I figure we're sort of 350 in here. Now, if you close your eyes and double that number, that's the amount of people in Oxfordshire that are actually homeless. That's not in some faraway city like London or any other part of the world. That's here on our doorstep. And we think that's a problem that we all need to be talking about. It's just one of the problems. It's not the only one. There are loads more. And I'm not in the debate, so I can't keep talking about them. But the real thing that I think matters is that you're like me, and you do care, because that's why you're here for the start. You wouldn't have come if you weren't particularly interested. So I'm just going to ask for a little bit of help, really. We're going to talk about Christmas, and there are 44 sleeps to Christmas. Maybe to some of you that's 1,050 online shopping hours. A lot of shopping can get done. And you're all going to be asking for things and buying things. So I'm going to say there's a little envelope in your pack. And what I want is actually a little letter from all of you. Maybe some of you will do it, maybe some of you won't. But what I really want to know is how you feel about this stuff. So I don't want a Christmas wish list. I just want you to tell me, what did you think about the motion before you started? When you leave, will you have thought differently? What could we be doing to help? What things really bother you about when you look around your communities? Do you see things that are problems? Do you want to do something to change them? Because I believe you do. I really do. One of the things that I learnt last week was even more incredible, was that County Durham Community Foundation have just signed the most amazing deal with Burberry. So Burberry, that iconic British band, They have launched a fantastic festive ad campaign, Elton John, Romeo, Beckham, and actually alongside that, they've put in a piece of philanthropy, and they've made a huge, significant gift. It's £250,000 to their local community, which is all about the Billy Elliot legacy. And they've chosen the Commute Foundation to do that with as a partner. And I think that's absolutely brilliant. And that is talking about the common good. That's a corporate doing some great work. Now, a little bit closer to home and to my heart is another corporate that's making this evening all possible. We've already heard from James. I was going to introduce him as one of our eminent speakers. You might have known that he often appears on national TV, on the radio, often really early in the morning for those of you who get up. But CCLA sort of enabled us to turn this pipe dream into the event that we have tonight. So we really couldn't do it without them. For those of you that don't know, and you may be wondering, what does CCLA stand for? It just stands for the three types of clients that they have, which are charities. So you're going to forget it, aren't I? Charities, churches, and local authorities. But more importantly, we are really grateful because you have made it possible. Now, the next speaker is obviously getting a little bit anxious, and I am going to stop. We've had such fun in the office working with the speakers. They've shown such good humour. They've been really generous. They're all giving their time for free. And we couldn't have done it without them. So we're just dying to hear what you've all got to say. So thank you. I'm going to hand back now to the President, and we will go back to order.